Look around you, bro. Just look around. Men are collapsing right around you, and you may be collapsing yourself, right? Men are either fat or they're super skinny and malnourished. They're soft, they're tired, they're invisible. Everywhere. No morning wood, right? That shit doesn't even exist for a lot of men nowadays. They wake up, they're soft. Again, that's a sign that you're hormonally just completely wrecked by the foods that you eat, by the water that you even drink. A lot of men are drinking tap water and they're wondering why their hormones are all messed up. Women don't want them, men don't respect them. And a lot of men have lost the game before it even started. A lot. We see a big sexual collapse right now when it comes to society. Big time. And the way that it's being compensated is saying, well, yeah, I'm just not looking at women anymore. I'm not attracted to women anymore. Women now are bad, et cetera, et cetera. That's not true, right? Society wants you to be neutered as a man. They don't want you to have sex. They don't want you to reproduce. The governments that exist, all of that, it's population control. That was part of what they wanted to do in the economic forum, the World Economic Forum. They wanted less children. They wanted to cut the population down. Bill Gates has literally said, I want to cut the population down. That is the whole entire agenda. So how do you do that, right? You hormonally hijack men to where they have low T, low testosterone. They have no drive. They have no energy. They have nothing. And the funny part is a lot of men go on social media and they virtue signal and they're like, no, like I forget women, like I'm focused on my purpose. If that was the case, why are OF subscriptions going up? Why are adult entertainment viewings going up? These people who run these adult entertainment sites are still making a fuck ton of money. And who are the biggest purporters? Who are the biggest consumers of these industries? Obviously men. I would say 99% of them are men. Maybe 1% of the freakazoids of women who actually look at that shit on a regular basis. That's a big problem, by the way. The fact that we even have 1% of women actually dialing in and watching this stuff and getting off to this stuff and desensitizing themselves. But 99% of men are the audience of these sites, and the consumption's going up. But then when we look at society now, the amount of sex that people are having is decreasing. The amount of miscarriages that are happening is increasing. I remember I saw this stat that said the average American is having sex 60 times a year. It's fucking embarrassing, bro. And that's the average. I'm pretty sure it's the top level men who are actually carrying that average to 60 times a year. I've talked to a lot of people and they're honest with me, and it's like they're having sex once a month with a person that they're with. And it's not because of religion. Again, if you're a religious person and you're trying to hold off until you're married, nothing against that. That's your decision. That's something that you consciously do. But there's a lot of men who genuinely want to have sex more regularly that can't. They lose, they fail in the sexual selection game. They can't do it. The woman's not attracted to them anymore. The woman's pumped on birth control and all these other hormone changing products to the point where she literally can't be aroused anymore. Hormones are completely fucked up. Men, hormones are completely fucked up. Your diet, the way that you live. Like I said, morning wood is literally non-existent to men anymore. They don't even have that. And they think it's a good thing. I used to think it was a good thing to not have that. I used to be that person where my hormones were so fucked up because my diet, the way that everything was so fucked up that I was like, oh, good. Like, I'm not horny. I'm good. No, that's a bad thing. You're a man. You should be horny. You should. And the reality is, because of this sexual collapse, we're going to have less children being born, which means the population, and this is mostly in America, by the way, everywhere else, people are having sex rampantly. Man, I went to Marbella, Spain, bro. That shit, sexuality is like on another level there. You go to, let's say, Japan, they're literally paying their citizens to have sex and have children. But now it's to a point, and you've been financially decapitated to the point where you don't even have the thought of it anymore because you're not financially okay. You're getting fucked on every single frontier. Debt, all of these things stress you out to the point where your hormones are fucked because your cortisol levels are so high. So there's all of these different factors that are existing to manufacture this almost like apocalyptical collapse of men literally never having sex. Never. Living with a woman and literally never doing it. And they're coping. Oh no, it's fine. Like once a month is fine, or once a week is fine. No, it should be every day, bro. I'm gonna sit here and there's gonna be a lot of men who are upset at me at this. There's gonna be a lot of incels who are saying that I'm wrong. A lot of men who have coped with the fact that they have zero sexual selection, that women would not want to have sex with them. So they cope with it by saying that they don't even want it anyway, which is not true. If you're a true man, if you're a man with high testosterone, with a good foundation of hormones that are pumping through you, you want that shit, but you can't get it. And the reality is, and I've said this in many videos, we're in a society where men are underfucked and overstimulated. Way too overstimulated with dopamine, with social media, scrolling. They get off to that. Men are getting off to OF models. Men are getting off to the adult industry videos that they watch, the pixels on the screen. But to dare to even talk to a woman in real life, to engage sexually with a woman in real life, is probably the greatest feat for a man in his life. Like, he can't do it. It's easier to start a business now than to have sex with a woman for a man, which is crazy to me, because when we look at times of previous times, like look at your parents' generation, the generation before that, they were having sex. There weren't hormone problems. All of these modern issues that we have now stem from the fact that, again, our hormones are fucked up completely. And Darwin talked about this 150 years ago. He literally said this: the strongest will survive. The people who are sex symbols will survive. The people who have, and you'll see people who genuinely like attract women in that way will survive. And the rest will get selected out. Your bloodline will stop existing. It will literally end with you. You'll get to a point where you can't have any kids. The woman that you're with can't have any kids. Why? Because, again, the hormones that are being pumped through the bullshit milk that they give you, that's artificial, pumped with a fuck ton of hormones to just castrate you. The lifestyle that you live. You don't even have sun as much anymore. You don't go outside. You're literally under a dim lit room. Like I am right now. At least I go outside. At least I go places where there is sun consistently so that I can maintain that. But you're stuck. And you're wondering why. Like, bro, why does life feel so bleak? Why does life feel so apocalyptic? We have AI going crazy now. There will start to be sex robots where men will start to have sex with robots. There will be no progression. Zero. And my biggest thing, the reason why I made this video is to make you aware of that and to urge you to become the man who says no. Either you find a woman, you're with that woman, you have children with that woman, or just have children in general. Multiply your bloodline, right? I had a point where I had to really focus on this because I'm the last of my last name. I'm the last. I was an only child. My dad knows none of his relatives, none. My mom knows some of hers, but I'm the last of my last name. So it is it's my duty to reproduce consistently. I can't sit here and not reproduce, bro, and fail my bloodline and not have any. And some men will say, well, what's the point of having a child in this world? Well, the reality is this, right? I think a lot of men cope with that and they say like, oh, I don't want to have children, whatever. It's probably because you don't even want to, you don't feel like you're even like biologically fit to multiply your seed. You feel ashamed of yourself. You haven't worked on yourself enough to where you can even multiply yourself on this planet. You feel ashamed of yourself. I want to multiply myself on this planet. I want to have mini me's on this planet because I feel a sense of pride in who I am as a man. I want another child to be able to indoctrinate that child in what I think about my work ethic and everything so he can be a productive citizen in society. I want to multiply. There are a lot of women who don't want to have children. I'm going to tell you this, right? You might be saying, well, yeah, a lot of women don't even want to have children now. That's bullshit. Because there is not a woman that I've been with that started off and said they didn't want to have children. And the minute that they started engaging with me, now all of a sudden they want to have children. They're just not finding the person that truly they feel is the type of man that they would want to see in this world. A lot of you are soft as fuck. A lot of you can't get things done. You're unproductive. You have no mission. You have no purpose. You have no value in society. Of course a woman doesn't want to fucking multiply with you. Of course. This is harsh, but it's true. And you know this. In your bones, you feel this shit. You feel the fact that you literally, you don't even have the qualifications to multiply. You're still fat and out of shape, or you're still scrawny and you're weak. Why would you want another fat and out of shape kid? Because that kid is going to follow your habits. They're going to follow your worldview. Your worldview is fucked. You're broke. You don't know how to make money because you haven't developed your skill set. You haven't done any of that. You haven't dialed in on your diet, your nutrition, your training, none of that. You haven't done any of that. And you're a subhuman of a person. So of course, no, don't reproduce if you're that. There's a lot of you that may not even be ready to reproduce, which is fine. But always have that in the back of your head that I need to build myself up to become a man who is worthy of reproducing myself with a woman. Because it's very, very important nowadays. Everyone's saying like fight the matrix, escape the matrix. If you want to fight the matrix and escape the matrix, have children. Because that's what they don't want you to have. They want you to be single, alone, sitting in a room, watching pixels on a screen, beating off until you have shit just sprawled on your chest and have a pack of Doritos right next to you, just crumbs all over your face. That's what they want you to do. They want to sedate you. But the men who are quote unquote masculine are the ones that are like, fuck that. I'm going to go talk to women. I'm going to go find a woman that's of quality and I'm going to procreate with her. I'm going to build my resource bank. And by the way, it's not expensive to have kids. I'm not telling you to have kids. Honestly, there's some of you that probably shouldn't. And you know that. You know you shouldn't have children because you're not even at a point where you would even want to see yourself multiplied. But for the ones who have developed themselves, it is important for you to have children because it is important to have stronger people on this planet that overtake the weaker people. There needs to be a shift in having stronger people on this planet versus the weaker people who keep getting reproduced on this planet. It's your prerogative if you're a strong man, if you've developed yourself to have children because you have to change the direction of where humanity's moving. And I'm a man of my word too. I'll probably pop one out next year. We already talked about it. I'm not going to sit here and talk without having plans of actually doing this shit myself. I'm 28. I'm at a point where it's about that time. It's true. I'm giving you real talk right now. You can still build a bit. I've known people, some of my friends, they finally had a kid and now all of a sudden their productivity rate flies because now they have a reason for doing what it is that they do. They have to support a family. They have to do that now. So they grind hard and they do that. And their efforts multiply because of that extra responsibility that they have. I remember seeing something where they said all of the billionaires had children before they were 30. And they weren't billionaires, even millionaires, until their mid-30s. And there's a reason for that. But again, you as a man, you have to understand that, okay, there is a sexual collapse going on, because that's the real problem. That's the real problem in society. Men are underfucked and overstimulated. That's the real problem. And what does that create? That creates a society of weak men, a society of men who genuinely can't stand up for themselves because they have no virile, they have literally zero testosterone pumping in their veins. They've given you shit like finasteride to be able to not go bald. Men are afraid of going bald. Bro, DHT is not what causes you to be bald. Look that shit up. It's a deficiency in vitamins. It's a deficiency in vitamin D. It's a lifestyle problem. It's a holistic hormonal problem. And it can also be genetic. Shave that shit off, bro. The minute I go bald, bro, the minute I'm truly balding, I'm shaving that shit off. Don't give a fuck. I don't. And I know, and it's funny because my hair is starting to actually grow in areas where it started to bald out because I've started to change my diet and I've started to add more nutrients in my supplement stack. So I know I needed finasteride, which then castrates you as a man, which then blocks DHT from pumping through your veins. That's why a lot of men now have high voices and shit. They have high voices. They sound like pipsqueaks. They're scared because they don't have the DHT flowing in their bodies that men had for decades. For decades. And on top of that, they have less sex because they don't even have the courage to initiate. They don't have the courage to even go speak to a woman. So they've lost before they've even started. And the reality is there are men who want to have sex. There are men who want to engage with women in that sense. There are a lot. If there wasn't, I don't understand why the adult entertainment sites are pumping money and why OF is still pumping money. If OF dropped down in their revenue tremendously and the adult entertainment websites dropped down tremendously, I wouldn't be making this video. Because that genuinely means that men are just not having, they don't even have a desire to have sex. One, because they're focused on a mission, they're focused on a purpose and whatever. But you want that. You're just doing it the wrong way that spiritually and hormonally and mentally castrates you. So you might as well go get the real thing. Nobody's going to tell you this shit. Everyone's going to hide under virtues and shit and tell you like, oh, bro, like self-improve, semen retention and all this shit. Bro, I'm TMI. Since we're 16 minutes in TMI. But it's true. I have sex every day. Every fucking day. I don't lose energy. All this bullshit. Oh, you lose energy. You this light that you have. Bro, no, none of that. Even when I was single, bro, I was still having sex and like my nothing changed, bro. Attraction to women didn't change because I was more sexually active. It's all bullshit. It's all cope. I genuinely believe it's all cope. Just to get guys to like not even think or entertain of the idea of having sex to the point where they never do. Now you see the behavior starting to change. This is going to be a more radical opinion, but it's true. I think a lot of men are now moving to the other side. You see men now, they just want to live with their guys. They want to live with 5 other guys and shit. They don't want to live with women. No. Live with guys. Oh, my guys. You ask a man, I remember, you ask a man, like, what traits do they want in a woman? And it's literally the traits of a man. What do you want in a woman? Well, you know, she has to be independent. She has to be driven. She has to be ambitious. She has to be motivated. She has to want to go get it. And I'm like, okay, what else? Yeah, like, that's the big one. She has to be strong. I'm like, bro, you just described a man. And they're like, what? No, look at what you described a man. Oh, shit. That's the change that we're seeing. Hormonal change, by the way. Almost like a flip-flop. And I'll literally joke around. I'll be like, go get men. if that's what you really want. Because women are different. Women are wired different. But there's been a big change in just how men even act in general. They're like afraid to talk to women. They're more comfortable just talking to guys and shit. They feel more comfortable being around a group of guys than a group of women. Which is fucked. Because even when I was single, bro, I really wanted to be around women. I want to hang out with my guy friends and shit like that, but that's not like what I'm looking forward to every day and shit. No. This whole Sigma mindset shit that these guys are talking about, like, bro, it's all bullshit. It's all psyop, bro. And it's going to keep getting worse. Men are going to continuously lose in the terms of sexual selection. There's going to be less people being born on this planet. And some may argue that that's a good thing because we have less bad people. Then why don't you become the best version of yourself and multiply the best version of yourself so that we have a better population? Why don't you take some responsibility in this collapse that we're having? Because that's what I'm doing. Would life be easier if I didn't have children? Absolutely. But the sacrifice of a man to move shit forward is to multiply yourself and make sure that that person that you've created on this planet will become the best version of themselves humanly fucking possible. Equip them with everything that you know. You went through all these self-improvement videos, Mr. Self-Improve. Well, now you have the tools. You can equip somebody else that you put on this planet to do the same shit early. Mr. Self-Improvement. You feel? And I'm not pushing towards degeneracy at all. I'm always like pick one woman and just like multiply with that woman. I'm always that. I'm married. Like I'm doing my, like I have my worldview that I have, right? I'm not into that whole degeneracy of like having, bro, all these single dating coaches, they all pay women and prostitutes and shit to fuck around with just to create content to show you that they have a bunch of women. The real flex is having one that's solid, who looks good, that like you genuinely can have really, really good offspring with. That's the real flex moving forward. Not all this other fucking theatrical shenanigans and shit. It's all bullshit. But men genuinely go to a point where like they don't even, that's not even a thought. Legacy is not even a thought for a lot of men nowadays. And they blame it on the fact that, oh, there are no good women out there. No, your mind is fucked up. All you see is bad women because that's all you fucking consume on social media is all of these incels, all these guys who have had bad relationships who are telling you that all women are bad, et cetera, et cetera. No, bro. Start to travel, bro. Get your money up, start to travel so you can see other parts of the world where there are feminine women, where there are women who you would genuinely want to be with for the long term. That shit exists. Maybe not in the Western world as much, even though even there is some. I found my wife in fucking Utah. In the people always say like, bro, you have an unfair advantage because you went overseas and no, bro. I went overseas because my wife got deported. That was a situational thing, which I'll have a whole video like where I'll sit her down and we'll talk about the whole shit so you understand like my history as well. But bro, I was in the US, bro. I was dating women in the US. Not all of them were bad. I had some shit that in my mind that I had to rewire to not sabotage relationships and not sabotage good women that would cross my path because I developed myself to be somebody who attracted those types of women in the first place. But it's all possible. So I say all this to say, reject the collapse. Stop collapsing as a man. Stop being underfucked and overstimulated and flip it. Be overfucked and understimulated. Enjoy life. Obviously responsibly, of course. But live life the way that it was meant to be lived. Work on your purpose at the same time. You can do both. Find one woman that has a high sex drive, that exists, that doesn't take birth control and all this other bullshit. Find that. It's possible. And if you really appreciate this, if you're somebody who wants to take their life to the next level, you want to work with me one-on-one to maximize yourself as a man in all aspects of life and use my model of training everything, your body, your mind, your business, your social experiences, everything, your lifestyle. I can help you with that. Link will be in the description to apply to work with me. Get on a call with me. We'll see if it makes sense to work together. All of my other courses and everything will be there. I have my dating course coming out very, very soon. I've had a lot of men literally hit me up and say, when is the dating course coming out? When is it? I know there are men who want to fucking be dating women and having sex with women. The demand is there. The amount of fucking emails, DMs, interactions I have with guys who watch my channel and are in my ecosystem, whether it's my private group that I have, whatever, they're all saying the same shit. So I know that there is a demand there. Y'all just don't know how to do it. And that's why I made this video, to tell you, you can do it if you develop yourself. So I appreciate you and I'll catch you on the next video.